Hello, everyone. Hi, guys. Sorry, I just worked out. Total mess. And I was actually thinking about this story that I wanted to do. And I was thinking, I was thinking about this announcement that came out on the GLAAD website. So here is, whoops, hold on. Okay, sorry about that. So I was thinking about this announcement that was out on the GLAAD website or on the GLAAD YouTube, and I was like, whoa, I was not expecting this announcement. And then I was actually watching this, I was like reading some stuff online, and I was like, are you guys here? Are we here? Can you guys see me? Okay, good. So I was like reading everything online, and I was like, whoa, I can't believe that this is what's been happening. So first off, I was doing two things. There's a story that went viral a couple days ago, and it was related to this nurse in Oregon. And it had me thinking about how sometimes people put things on TikTok and they have no idea that it's going to go viral, and they don't really realize that their behavior has consequences, because this nurse got in so much trouble for it. So that's where we'll go towards the end. But this beginning announcement, I was actually kind of stunned by, because I don't watch a ton of housewives, but GLAAD. So obviously the organization for the LGBTQ plus that does all kinds of advocacy and education and just like outreach. They interviewed Bronwyn, and she is from the OC. And if you watch Housewives last season, she and Tamara Judge had this really steamy kiss. And I actually did a video about it last year because they were so wasted that it was I couldn't even believe what I was watching. Is this really happening? And they were making out all over the bar. And obviously that's not too over the top, but Vicky lost her mind. And that's kind of why I got upset, because Vicky was like, I can't believe you're doing this. And she was being super anti, acting like it was so unbecoming for, two consenting women to actually kiss, which is so why do you care, Vicky? By the way, Vicky isn't on the show anymore. Neither is Tamara. But Bronwyn, she went on to GLAAD, which I think is an awesome choice, because no better person to speak with when you're going to make this kind of announcement. But I was maybe stunned a little bit and kind of surprised. So let me just show you here.
And it has taken me 42 years to say that, but I'm so coming, but I'm finally comfortable enough to say, I like women. I'm gay. I'm a member of the LGBTQIA+ community. I'm a lesbian. And it has taken me 42 years to say that, but I'm so proud of where.
First off, I'm 42. I didn't even know she was 42. She looks amazing for 42, by the way. She has 7 kids, and she has been married for a million years. And she's still married, by the way, which is so this is the part to me that's I think they're still trying to sort through some stuff, but this is an amazing announcement. I feel like anytime someone at their life, when they get to a certain point, can make this kind of announcement and be so confident about it, I just want to jump up and down and scream and be like, yes, 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 good job. Yay. I'm so glad you're living your truth. And it's I'm so happy that she's doing this through GLAAD, which she could have done this with anyone, right? She could have done this with any other organization. She could have done this with a tabloid, and instead she picked GLAAD. And she has done so much advocacy for the LGBTQ+. She also has a son that's super into drag. And she did this whole event where they all dressed up and raised money for this organization that helps children, the LGBTQ plus youth and transgender youth with like homelessness and finding jobs and like helping them with like their mental health stuff in San Diego. So I guess I'm like not surprised that this is coming, but I am surprised because I don't know, you know, like I'm so happy that she can like be so honest
right now. And I'm so happy where I am. And just to be able to be comfortable in my own skin after so long is just so nice.
Absolutely. Well, first off, thank you for
it started last year. I know I had a scene with Tamara that everyone kind of talked.
So she's going to talk about that steamy scene. And I feel like a lot of people that go through this, like they kind of question, like, do I like women? Do I not? I mean, because there's this whole idea that like, you know, when you're drinking, your inhibitions kind of go out the window. I know that's how I used to feel before I was like out and like, this is who I am kind of thing. So this is an interesting take.
And when we were getting ready for the reunion, I was talking to a producer that I trusted a lot. His name was James. And he said, you know, how do you feel about this? Is this something, you know, was it a drunken mistake or is this part of who you are? And I said, this is who I am. He's like, then you own it. Own that. And so when I went to the reunion last year, I kind of started baby stepping into this is who I am. I like women and kind of testing the waters with, you know, my friends, my cast, my family. And it was actually really well received. No one really batted an eye. So I'm like, wow, this is something that I've kind of kept to myself, feeling almost a sense of shame over. And
this is like amazing to me that she is doing this and that she is sharing this and that she is like going there. Someone in the chat just said, leave the LGBTQ plus community alone, but I am in the LGBTQ plus community. So I do know about this subject. I am bi. So thank you, Sue, for your comment. And I'm always going to cheer on anyone that lives their truth. I think this is absolutely amazing. I applaud like her doing this. It's awesome.
I kind of started talking about it. No one cared really, not in my inner circle, at least, not the people that matter to me, my good friends and my family. So this year, you know, I got sober, which
okay, another thing that surprised me is I had no idea that she had an issue with alcohol. So not only does she come out, which is awesome, but now she's talking about her sobriety, which I think is even better. Like I feel like the more I just think it's amazing.
No, there's a correlation between the two. I know that when you get sober and you start doing, you know, the work that goes into that, you start realizing a lot of the reasons you drank had to do with who you were on the inside. And so as I started to go through, you know,
that makes me sad. It makes me sad that anytime someone can't be like who they authentically are themselves, that they like have to like numb themselves down. It's like she's going to go into the statistics about there's higher incidences that can happen within the LGBTQ plus community. But it's, yeah.
The process with my sponsor, this became a big part of it. And this is something that I had to talk to Sean a lot about. And it kind of came around the same time that I met someone that I was interested in pursuing.
So she also meets someone and she's going to date them, but then she's going to stay married, which is like so fascinating to me out of all of this. I still think they're trying to navigate all of this.
A relationship with, and this was all going on in my house in real time. It kind of started during filming and then, you know, afterwards, but this sort of became something that I didn't want to hide anymore. And I didn't want to keep secret anymore. I want to be able to go out to dinner, you know, with whoever I want without judgment, you know, as long as my husband's okay and the person I'm dating is okay, and knows everything. Like I didn't want to have to hide this anymore.
How does it?
I love that she can be authentically herself. I absolutely love that she can be who she needs to be. It's absolutely amazing. And so I am like super impressed with all of that. Like, I think it's so awesome to see that she can like do all of these things and like be all of these things. I'm absolutely like so amazed by all of this. I love it.
Right now for you to say, you know, I'm lesbian, I'm attracted to women.
I'm still getting used to it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still getting used to this. I grew up in a time when, my idea of what being a lesbian was you had short hair, you wore flannel, there's a very masculine stereotype. So when I was younger, I never really thought that I could be that. I knew I was attracted to women. I always have been, but I liked makeup and hair, and I didn't quite understand what to do with that. So I got married very young.
I actually love this because this is exactly how I grew up, where that's how I felt too. I didn't understand that you could be feminine. This is I feel like when I'm listening to her, I was listening to myself going through some of this. So I just was I love this.
And I never thought about it. So to be 42, which for me it's just now, I'm just now starting to feel like I'm becoming the woman I was supposed to be. So for me to be living completely authentically and say, I'm a lesbian. That was who I've always been. This isn't something that is new, because that I think is what a lot of people will think, oh, suddenly you're one. No, I've always known it, but it took me personally 42 years to be comfortable enough in my own skin.
Well, it just makes me so sad that we live in a time where people cannot feel and be who they are. I'm glad that she's finally there. It's amazing that she's finally there. And I love her as the housewives. I actually think that of all of the housewives, she's one of the most breath of fresh air, most honest, less pretentious. I'm not doing this for any other reason than to say, I think this is an awesome announcement. I love anyone that can become authentically who they are and live their truth. It was kind of why I talked about yesterday, Elliot Page, sharing their, transgender identity. And I just, I absolutely love anyone that can live authentically themselves. So I'm super excited for her to see what the next steps are going to be, where she's going to go, what she's going to do. It'll be pretty cool to see how all of this works.
I'm shocked at all. I don't know if it's their generation, which is okay, cool. I mean, I really do. They watch.
And she's still trying to figure out what she's going to do with her husband. Okay. All right. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is this. This was another thing that I was amazed at. Okay. So in Oregon, there is a nurse, and she was actually well, she's not fired, but she's not fired yet. She's on administrative leave because she went onto TikTok and she basically mocked the pandemic. She works in oncology, by the way, and she was laughing about not wearing a mask when she's not at work and allowing her kids to go on play dates, and she still travels. So, initially, this actually ended up she deleted her account. But this is, where is it? Okay, she's in an office. It's been reshared. I know, no notification. Sorry, guys. It's been reshared on this other account, Amanda Butcher, who basically was able to save it before everything got deleted. And it says, imagine being an oncology nurse during a pandemic and bragging about not taking precautions. My son died. And she's doing a scene from The Grinch that stole the Grinch. So she's basically mocking all of the people that are wearing masks. She's like, when my coworkers find out that I still travel, don't wear a mask when I'm out, and let my kids have play dates. How sad if you are an oncology patient at this hospital. By the way, this is at a hospital. She works at Salem Health in Oregon, and they actually had to put out a statement. So this ends up going viral, obviously, because she's an oncology nurse mocking the pandemic, and she's taking care of some of the most fragile patients because they are immunocompromised, obviously. So this one actually kind of got to me. I was like, how do you work with people who are so fragile and then you are basically like mocking them? So this actually caused the organization that she works at to have to put out a statement. So they posted this on their Facebook, and it says, yesterday, a nurse employed with Salem Health posted a video on social media which displayed cavalier disregard for the seriousness of this pandemic and her indifference towards physical distancing and masking outside of work. This video has prompted an outcry from concerned community members. We want to thank those who brought this to our attention and assure you that we are taking this very seriously. This individual does not speak for Salem Health and has been placed on administrative leave pending an investigation. We also want to assure you that this one careless statement does not reflect the position of Salem Health or the hardworking and dedicated caregivers who work there. Salem Health believes we need to do our part to protect the vulnerable and stop the rapid spread of COVID-19. This includes requiring staff, patients, and visitors to follow guidance from the CDC and others about mask wearing and social distancing, and the pandemic seriousness requires a serious response. So she's now on leave, and people are basically like calling for her, like they can't believe she hasn't been fired yet, which I was like, yeah, like what kind of investigation do you need to do when you're actually like, you know, in there dealing with this? So, the nursing board now has actually had to step in, and they say that they are now aware of it and they are doing an investigation. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting is that it wasn't just that she was blatantly disregarding things, but like there's this other post that she shared on her social media. And it's this one: when my coworkers come at me for not wearing my mask when I'm outside at work. So like she's basically just mocking her coworkers and just like saying, yeah, whatever. Like, how do you work in oncology and you have this sort of attitude? Do you think she's like motivated here by getting views or, you know, building her platform? Or is she just being like, what kind of nurse would do this? I can't think of a nurse that works during this pandemic that would act like this. Okay, so the chat has totally slowed down. Let me see if I can. There were so many unrelated top comments in there. I will open up chat again just so you can talk. But anyways, chat will be open again. Okay. So I was like, how does this nurse actually act like that? This seems so crazy to me. So she's now on leave, and they're saying that the nursing board is actually doing an investigation, but the nursing board will not say the details of what happens with that investigation because they say all investigations are basically private unless they make a public decision. So this is what the nursing board told Statesman Journal out of Oregon. Per Oregon law, all investigatory information is confidential, including a complaint information, unless and until the board takes public disciplinary action against a license. The board is aware of this issue and will review the situation for possible violations of the Nurse Practice Act. They say hospital officials have not given many details of what the investigation is, but they say it's to determine any risk to patients or staff, including, according to Michael Gay, a Salem Health spokesperson. And so the hospital told the outlet, we will be following the recommendations of our infection control team and next steps. So apparently they're trying to figure out who she might have been exposing, who she might have been like putting at risk, if there had been any other people around her, if she had any contact with people, like who were the people that she affected. So I'm like sitting here going, like, really, what's the investigation? Honestly, what is the investigation here? You have a nurse that works in oncology that has been out completely disregarding the pandemic guidelines. And then they're going to just walk into work and deal with the most at-risk immunosuppressed patients in the hospital. And apparently the hospital in which she works at has the most cases and is taking the most patients for this. All right. So that was that story. And then on to the next. The final is about the Duggars. So apparently over Thanksgiving, the Duggars, Josh and Anna, went down to they went down to Florida, and Anna spent time with her family. And so she and her family all got together, and backlash ensued on Instagram. So apparently, here's Anna, and it's like all of the family that's there. You can see them, like, they're all there. There's Josh and actually Nuri and Nathan are very over there on the edge. You can see them over here. But so she's with all of her siblings. You can see they're all color coded. Priscilla and David Waller are there. The whole dang family's there. And so a lot of fans were angry that she was being so blatantly disregarding of the pandemic. She says, so much that I am thankful for on this Thanksgiving Day. So grateful we spent this lovely day with family and sharing good food and fellowship. Now, if you know anything about this family, they actually live in Florida. The Keller family lives in Florida. So that means that Josh and Anna traveled down to Florida. I wouldn't do that, but so they were like all with the family, and people were just like, Thanksgiving together, Christmas in the ICU, poor choices. And then other people were like trying to defend her. She didn't share what they did to prepare for their time together. Maybe they all quarantined so they could get together. Maybe they were all tested. Maybe it was planned for a long time and they continued on. We don't know. And that's actually a good point. We have no idea what they did to prepare for this. We don't know if any of them were self-quarantining. We don't know if they were taking precautions. We don't know anything. All right. So we have a lot of people upset about the COVID stuff going on with the Duggars and their blatant disregard for mask requirements. And I did a video yesterday about a party that they had at their house. I called it the super spreader party. And some of you guys were basically like saying that you don't think that the Duggars actually believe that it's a thing. So, what are your thoughts? Obviously, there's a lot of they never live in the real world, says KP. Also, wearing a mask at a family gathering seems silly if you're spending the entire day together. So I don't know. Basically, they're basically saying that you should wear masks. Are you really okay, though? I am. I'm really okay. I'm doing really good. Thanks, guys. Okay, and then KP says they never live in the real world anyways. So do you think that people are so utterly like they don't care? I've been trying to think about this from an objective perspective because I obviously don't want to like ever say that somebody's this blatantly ignorant to what's going on. But the Duggars have not been following any sort of protocols. Arkansas is in a very precarious situation with escalating cases right now and increased restrictions and guidelines, and they just haven't stuck to any of it. Oh, Emerald says she adopted a cat. I love that. I hope you have a good cat. All right. So I just can't decide what I think about the Duggars. Do they not think it's real? Or are they just, do they buy into this idea that it's like, you know, the conspiracies? There's not, see, people said in members only, there's actually not enough members here. I would turn on members only, but I only have a couple members in chat and I don't see a lot of people here. Like, I can turn on members only, but there's not a lot of members here right now. My cousin is your biggest fan. Okay, I will turn back on members only. We try to run a chat that's pretty happy and fun and being respectful. And I try not to, if you are a member and you'd like to enjoy and jump into the chat. So my question is what do we think is going on here? Are they of the idea that it's not real and it doesn't exist? That it is a world in which there are no, it's like the flu, which we know is not true. Or do they think it's not going to happen to them? And I still am not convinced that there hasn't been someone in this family that hasn't gotten it yet. Because the Bates have all been, okay, here's what I will say. The Bates have at least been honest. The Bates have come out and multiple people from the Bates have come out and said they have had and tested positive. Most recently, Whitney and Zach. Whitney is pregnant. And Zach, who's a policeman. Oh, I feel the first responders and the guys on the, you know, the women and men that are working in law enforcement are putting their lives at risk every day, going out and having to deal with this. And unfortunately, while at work, he was exposed and he brought it home, and Whitney's pregnant. So I feel like the Bates are at least being honest. So Whitney said she had it. Erin said that she had it. Carlin and Evan said that they had it. So at least they're like actually not trying to hide it. Do you feel like there has been Duggars that have had it and they're just not talking about it? It's Bunny says, I just don't think that they care. I know, I don't think a lot of people got notifications for this one, but that's okay. Hey, Leah, thank you so much for your super sticker. Chris says, I only knew about this live because I was on in Emily's and someone was making negative comments that you were saying in your live about being bisexual, actually. Oh, well, I am bisexual. So I guess, hey, I am the LGBTQ plus. I'd much rather be honest than not be who I am. The Duggars probably think it's shameful, so they hide it. Part of me does wonder this, it's the appearances. So I did a video earlier tonight where I was talking about, at least with Welcome to Plathville. So if you are watching Welcome to Plathville on TLC, which is airing on Tuesday nights, Welcome to Plathville, I think, is the only family that has fundamentalists, that comes from fundamentalist world, that actually shows like the true reality of what's going on. You've got kids that have literally left the world, that are trying to make do in a world where they haven't been prepared, where their parents have not provided them adequate education, where they didn't have social skills, where they didn't have friends. So I feel like Welcome to Plathville gives us a better like look into what happens when these kids leave and the ramifications that can happen on there. But it feels like there are some shows on TLC where they just don't want to show anything. And so they just want to show like the vanilla, everything's gravy, we have the best family, this is a wholesome family show kind of thing. It's not, yes, there is, people don't believe that you can be bisexual and married to someone. So whatever, doesn't change the fact of what I find attractive. It just makes me sad that there's still people out there that aren't taking this seriously, more than anything. All right, so Bronwyn is being her authentic self, which I absolutely like. Mommy of Piglet says that she misses all of the medical documentaries that were on TLC. Do you remember when TLC was the Learning Channel? I remember that. I do for sure. Okay. I think that was all I had. I've been patiently waiting to find out if this nurse gets fired. I want this nurse to get fired. So what are your thoughts about this nurse? Do you think this nurse should have just been terminated, or do you think there needs to be an investigation? And then do you think when she's on administrative leave, they have not said if her administrative leave is paid or unpaid? Sassy says, who cares? Okay. And I'm like, I can't decide. I can't decide about the Duggars. I just can't. But we don't know the story about their family event. Oh, no, not at me. It's okay, Sassy. I was just saying, you're not talking to me. Okay, got it. Oh, about the bi. Yeah, there's bi erasure. So people, there's this belief that if you are married and you are bisexual and you have a spouse that's of the opposite sex, then you are not in fact bi, that you can either only be one of two things, gay or heterosexual. And that's just not how it works. I don't know where Shouty is tonight. She has been not feeling very good. So if you guys want to say some good thoughts for Shouty, I'm sure she would appreciate it. It's that's my main struggle too, girl. I feel if we all get our groove, haters will always hate, but yes, we're all human. I love you. Tells it how it is. Oh, I'm not worried about any of that. Shouty does need a lift, a huge one. So if you guys want to say she's been in the hospital and not feeling very good. She's been a longtime member of this channel and she has been dealing with some serious issues. So if you are a praying kind, I'm sure she would. She is a faithful one. So I'm sure she would love any prayers that you can send to her. And she would probably be really happy. She's probably sleeping at this time. She's normally here in the chat. Almost always. She's literally been a member of mine for a million years. All right. So that was really all I had. So I was wondering, like, it'll be interesting. Yeah, it can be hard, you guys. It can be hard to pay attention with all the nonsense, but we're not here for the nonsense. We're here for the content, and I'm moving forward. So, Caffeinated Angel says she's definitely going to pray for Shouty. So I like that anyone can be truthful, and I like that anytime someone who, whether they're 40 or they're 50 or they're 70 or they're 10. Wherever you are in the life, if you can be honest with who you are. It took me a very long time to be able to say that. Yeah, I was so fearful of it. Growing up Catholic, it was not okay. It was very frowned upon. So it was very hard for me to come to that place. Then I married a man who's absolutely my person. But, that doesn't change how you feel and what you're attracted to. There's two completely different things. So I'm proud of her for, being herself, and I'll be interested to see what her plans are for her marriage. I'm sure this is going to put her marriage in a very, I'm sure it's a lot of conversations are going on behind the scenes, but for the two of them. So I'm sure that family probably needs some thoughts or prayers as well. All right. So that's all I have for tonight. I know there's a lot of noise going on around, but we're not going to talk about it. We're going to keep plugging forward, and tomorrow we will be back with more. I want to appreciate all of you guys for all of your support, all of your kind thoughts, and for basically just sticking with it. All right, you guys, I will be back tomorrow with more, and you have a great night.